temper, and he would beat his dogs and his servants, and he would do a lot of bad things. And she didn't want to marry him, but her mom wouldn't, like, was kind of forcing her to.
Yeah.
And her dad wasn't there to be with her, so she just kind of had to, and she was 15. So then right before they were getting married, he got smallpox, I think.
Yeah.
And when they got back, she said that he looked, well, she had to be transferred, and when they got back, she said that he looked hideous, and he had scratches and scars all over his face. And then they got married, and for 9 years after they got married, she spent time alone with no friends or anything like that, and she spent time reading books and learning about the war and stuff like that, because she thought after the Empress died, she could probably take over instead of Peter. So she studied even more, and then I believe before the Empress died, she was about to have a baby, and when she had her baby, it was taken away for her for 6 weeks. So she couldn't do anything about it because she was sick. And then after that, the Empress got sick and ended up dying. So she would go, I forgot where, but she would go somewhere to mourn. And they had a ceremony for 6 weeks. And Peter did not mourn at all. He said that they shouldn't do anything about it and wear mourning clothes or anything like that.
What's the Empress name?
The Empress
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Okay, that's very good. Very impressive. I'm impressed by you. You knows everything.
I could even finish the chapter.
Okay. No, we're gonna have somebody else review the list. So what? Who want to volunteer the next one? Who's good at it?
I'll do it. I gotta grab my other.
Oh yeah.
Journal
Oh good.
Because
Okay. You guys are better students these days. Everybody volunteer except you, Naomi. Who's just sitting learning anything. Terrible student.
Okay.
Well, Naomi is a very tedious. She uses take her own notes. So, go ahead.
Okay. Part 2. It's called Catherine the Great. Peter was a very bad Khazar. The Russian army.
It's not bizarre.
The Russian army hated him a lot. And at this time, Catherine was recovering from childbirth, and she was beginning to have plans to rebel and rise up against Peter.
Peter's last name is Ulrich. That's very Russian kind of name. So go ahead.
And then, so the Russian army rebelled against Peter, and they defeated him easily because everyone turned against him. And then Catherine was pronounced Empress. Peter tried to rally his army, but no one served him anymore. And then Peter had just asked to go to Prussia, but Catherine did not want him to because he was afraid. He tried to gather up again and come take his kingdom back. And then Peter was murdered by someone. No one knows who.
No, they do know. See,
Do you know how he died?
He called the Prince
He was strangled.
Barantaski.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of a different story.
Yes,
But
I know that.
they said that it could have been that Catherine could have sent someone to kill him, or that she could have had something planned, but nobody.
Yeah, I don't think.
But they know that he got strangled.
I don't think everybody liked him. Who knows what really happened? So.
And then, so he died by what is said to be a fight with Sir Brunkalski, whatever. And then Peter. Yeah, he was strangled, but then
Then what happened?
Catherine went on to be empress for another 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she brought many Western ideas,
Mm-hmm.
pretty good things to Russia, and
What are pretty good things to Russian? What I mean? What are those things?
What?
Tell me. What are those things? Give me example.
of what?
Give me this,
The pretty good
the
things
good
from-
things. What are the good things?
Like she expanded a lot of
Territory.
Russia's
Mhm.
borders. She kind of made some better laws.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she got her name from, Catherine the Great. She did a
Mhm.
lot of great.
She got
Things
new
for the
hospitals, if that, right?
Yep, and made-
Medicine. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She also an admirer of what? A philosopher. What is the name? What is his name? Walter. Okay, Walter. Walter is.
Walter?
I don't know. I don't know how to say this English name.
Which
What?
one?
Walter.
Oh, to
Val-
be.
Walter.
Biology?
Walter. Yeah,
No,
we
I can
Chinese
have
call
to
it
see.
fur. Yeah, Chinese. I know him very well, so I
That's
just
good.
don't know his English. English how to pronounce. Yeah,
I see.
how to pronounce.
I don't see
Where
the
is it?
name.
It is in like Peter the Great Catherine, like many of the ideas and that chapter, that paragraph.
French.
Yeah, he
Voltaire.
admired the French philosopher
Voltaire.
Voltaire. Okay,
Voltaire.
Voltaire. Okay, he's one of the great stars of called the Enlightenment movement. Okay, so that's what it is. So she considered herself an enlightened queen, right? Enlightened empress. So, go ahead.
So yeah, that's where the chapter kind of ends.
So, what is her opinion of Russian Revolution? She says good thing or bad thing?
She,
You know anything? Where's your book?
right here.
Okay, you read it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what do you think, Catherine's idea about the French Revolution?
She thought it was a good idea.
She
wanted
she
to.
like it, or she is preferred or not preferred? Very good question, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Question good
preferred
idea.
it,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ask her whether she like it or not. That's good, right? To know what really she like is an idea from European or not.
Right.
Then why she don't like it if she don't? Why she like it if she do, right? So to understand the person's mind, right? So especially the one influenced, she ruled the Russian for a greater time, right? So then her opinions, her idea about those things, deciding in the days to come the relation between Russian and Europe, right? So making sense to you? So yeah. Okay, that being said, let's start the new chapter. What is it called? Chapter
Changing world.
A Changing World. Talking about, I think, Industrial Revolution period. Let's look at the map first. We see gonna mainly talk about Europe and America, right? Cross Atlantic. Okay. Wow, there's a Spain here. Man, Spain is here. France is here. No other nation. Europe is disappeared. Only two nations. Oh, America is here. Scotland is here. Ireland is here. England is here. Everybody have your own books? Okay. Okay. Let me look at your. Look at me. Your that one is kind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my friend from California made that.
Oh, that's self. Wow, that's very sweet. I like it. Okay, we're gonna start with reading. We're gonna take this turn to read. Is that okay for you guys? Okay, go ahead.
Me?
Mhm.
Okay, sorry. So, steam and coal in Britain. Imagine that you were walking along a dusty dirt road between two rows of polar trees.
Popular trees, I think. Popular
Poplar.
trees. That's actually in the Bible. So. Mhm.
Okay. The branches that stretch over the road are just beginning to bud with pale green spring leaves. The bird sings high above you, the sound carried to you on a chilly morning breeze. Just ahead of you lies an English village. The church bells ring 8 clear tones. It is still early in the morning, but the villagers are already hard at work.
Mm-hmm.
At the edge of the village, the trees open up into fields. 2 oxen pull near the road's edge.
Plow.
Plow. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pull and
That is important. They pull something.
pull and plow.
Either a cart, a plow, or you. They have to pull some of these. So.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I'm teasing you guys. Relax. Mm-hmm.
Further off in the distance, you can see a single horse pulling a seed drill.
Do you not know anything about the seed drill?
I think a seed drill. I think it might
Mm.
punch the holes in the ground for
Huh.
your seeds. I don't
They
know.
pull, so they bunch. They drip seed every now and then while cutting, cutting up. When you plow something, you're cutting a
Seed drill's like
yeah.
a thing that had a bunch of spikes in it, and then either someone would walk behind dropping seeds, or sometimes in those days they had
So
buckets.
oh,
Wow.
okay.
I know, but the plow cut lines in the
Hmm.
dirt
Oh.
to put seeds in.
Okay, that's interesting, huh? So this is here try to tell you the old way of doing farming, right? So go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Farmers walk behind their machines, keeping the animal in a straight line. Stone walks close of stone walls close of the fields, against the rough gray of the nearest wall. 2 young men are shearing a flock of unhappy sheep. A pile of wool grows nearby. 3 small children scurry back and forth, carrying the wool in baskets. You hear a gentle thump, 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 for a cottage sits beside the road. You peer through the window. A woman sits spinning wool into a heavy thread. On the other side of the room, her husband bends over a loom, weaving cloth from the wool thread. Shuttle thumps against the loom side each time he passes it between the threads. The fire burns on the hearth. Beside the house, a young boy is chopping the stumps up. Each swing of axe splits another piece of the firewood. A clang, clang, clang sounds from further down the street. A blacksmith is making horseshoes, and an apprentice blows at his fire with bellows,
Mm-hmm.
pushing the handles.
Who have ever blew a billow?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I think we've done it like more.
Yeah.
It's like
Different kind below there is, but mostly is a,
Oh, like
is
a
a
big
skin,
one.
right?
Yeah.
So
Very, some are big, some are
we
tiny.
had one.
Some are made of wood. We
Yeah.
have billow all the time. We do
I think we had a wooden billow for 1
wood
hour.
ones.
Cabins or something.
Yeah, that's my job when I was small. Come in summer hot, am I right? Oh, I had to do cooking, smoky, burn clothes. That's what I did. That's my summertime.
Bellow.
Yeah.
An
Go ahead.
apprentice blows at the fire with bellows, pushing the handles up and down, and sweating. What?
Sweating.
Sweating. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
No, you don't need to be so sorry.
Despite the chill, the blacksmith swings his hammer over his head and beats his softened iron, shaping it into a crescent.
What that means?
He's using the metal with the heat and shaping it.
Yeah, have you heard Damascus sword?
Yep. I have a Damascus knife.
Yes, that's because it did so many times, different layers. Don't smile, okay? Today's forbidden. We need to stop Naomi from smiling. Look at the expression. That's precious. Go ahead. Shaping it into a crescent.
At the end of the village street, the windmill's sails revolve gently in the breeze. The miller Inside is milling. Grindstone. Turn
Is
by-
minding.
Is minding.
Minding means pay attention to it, right? So,
Minding grindstones.
mhm.
Turned by the sails as the village's wheat into flour.
Into flour. Let's the next person continue. Who is the next person?
The next person?
Okay, you're gonna cry now. So. Go ahead.
Muscle power makes the machines and tools in this village work. All over England, human and animal muscles produce the goods and food that Englishmen eat and use. Together, the people of a village can also harness the power of the wind. A village near a stream might be
What it
able
means
to
harness? Anybody explain to me what it
Take a
means?
hold.
Take advantage of.
Yeah.
Okay.
A village near a stream might be able to use a water wheel instead.
Mm-hmm.
A new source of power, neither muscle, wind, or water, will soon change village for life. In 1769,
Let's write that down. That's gonna be tested.
1769.
Mm-hmm. You know, to measure power called the watts, right? That's where it came from. Huh? I'm right. Look at that. Go ahead.
a Scotsman named James Watt perfected a machine called a steam engine.
Mm-hmm.
The steam engine works in a very simple way. Water is heated in a closed metal bowl called a boiler. When the water boils, it turns into steam. Steam takes up more space than water, so the steam pushes to get out of the bowl. The only way out of the bowl is through a narrow pipe called a cylinder.
Cylinder. Have you heard of that somewhere?
Yep.
Yep.
Where?
In a car.
Cars, right? So.
But the cylinder is blocked by a circular piece of metal called piston.
Pistol.
Piston?
Piston.
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 When the steam tries to go through the cylinder, it pushes the piston up. Then the steam cools off, condenses back into water, and falls back down into the boiler. The piston falls back down too. This happens over and over, so that the piston moves
Can
regularly.
you guys
up
close the
and
window
down.
there so we don't have so much noise coming in? So we got the fans, so we're good. So. Thank you, guys. All right.
The motion of the piston can be used to run machines. The steam engine had been invented 100 years before by a French scientist and built 70 years before by an English inventor. But James Watt figured how to make the steam engine put out more power for less fuel. Now the steam could be used to run machines, mills for grinding grain, engines to pull plows and heavy loads, bellows, water pumps, and even ships.
So he just give you a list, the scenarios that it was described ahead, right? So all those manpower or natural power are gonna replace by this engine, right? Engine power. So, go ahead.
The steam engine changed the West just as much as ideas about liberty and equality did. Steam could run so many more machines so much more quickly than human muscles, windmills, or water wheels. People grow tired, wind dies down, and drought dries up streams. But steam engines would run as long as they had coal. As steam engines became more popular, more and more coal was needed to feed them. But although steam engines ran machines faster than ever, coal was still mined by hand. Miners had to dig tunnels down into the ground where coal lay and chop it out by hand. Deep down in the ground, there wasn't enough air for the miners to breathe.
That's just terrible life. Have you seen the miner's life?
People are forced to do it.
Without a machine, Without a machine. I'm sorry?
It's a pretty dangerous job too, because
Absolutely.
about these two brothers.
Humble you,
Yeah.
So,
And when you're breathing in coal, and rips your lungs apart.
Yeah, there's no air, there's no light. You dig
Yeah, I
into
think
the.
that's when they came up with the candle, how they would send the candle down, and if it went out, that means they couldn't
It
go down
means
there.
there's no air, stuff like that. Yeah. Man, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
Oh, she's gone?
Just left.
In the middle of reading, Esther?
Suspended.
Okay, you continue. She evidently don't want to read. So.
So we were.
Minor Dicturnals.
She's back.
She's back.
Sorry, my throat was dry.
Where you went?
To get some water.
Excuse
She was in
yourself
a-
before you leave. I'm just like,
Well, you guys are talking.
That's a good point. Go ahead. Miners hang to dig tunnels down into the ground.
The miners tried to let air into the tunnels through the trapdoors, but they still might stumble into airless pockets of the mine and suffocate before they could get out. The miners called this lack of air choke damp.
What? Choke
Choke damp.
damp. That's a very difficult word, huh?
Yeah, that's
Never heard of that one before.
Choke down?
Yeah.
choke damp. Choke damp.
We don't want to be there.
Yeah. Even worse than choke damp was fire damp.
What? Fire then.
Coal puts out gas called methane.
Methane.
Methane?
Methane.
Methane?
Methane.
Nothing.
Methane. When methane built up in corners of coal mines, it would
So
explode.
beside coal can produce it, what else can produce it?
There's stuff
Methane.
and like
There's a little
gasoline. That does it as-
a little bit of methane.
And the gas inside the coal.
Well, that-
Actually, human waste, grass, when you boil down, begin to erode, and it actually produce methane.
It's also
and lead up.
it's also why in like ponds, some ponds you can like let it on fire.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
it's in,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
ponds and
yeah.
stuff.
You see certain things can bubble up, right? So don't necessarily smell good, but it's can lead it up. Right?
Methane's are in farts too.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, this is called the recycling process. Can
Yeah.
produce energy. The things that can be feed into the field to increase productive the soil, and then soil produce again. Grass, whatever. Food again turn to be the material for this is a whole recycling process. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
It would explode with a little bang.
Hmm.
But the little bang would fill the air with coal dust, which acted like gunpowder and exploded again in a huge shattering blast that killed miners and collapsed tunnels.
Well,
Miners could be killed by suffocation, explosions, or tunnel collapse. But even those who survived often died later from a disease called
black lung. That is terrible. One.
I don't want to be a coal miner.
Well,
Good thing there ain't any.
there's
I wonder if some people, I don't know, that probably has nothing to do with it, but in the war, in World War II, they used gas masks. I wonder if that would work down under the ground if they used that. I wonder if that would help at all because of the gas.
I don't know
and-
who can wear that thing to work every day.
Yeah.
That's
Like
tough.
wearing a
That's a
mask
huge
every day.
thing. Like alien invasion.
It might,
so-
Well, true, but
I'm
it might have,
joking.
I wonder if that would have worked.
I think
That's the only thing
I
they
think
have.
modern days they have a way to purify the air. So in those days they really don't have a lot of equipment, So this context, the description here, try to tell you whole industry revolution started with a terrible condition, right? So which it was. Try a lot of people into very terrible situation in life. So yeah, the American progressive movement started with the journalists begin to report on certain things. One of the conditions, the slums of people, the miners actually, so doing mining, lost on university. So their life is terrible, basically, So it's like living so terrible that the people of the day said that's just terrible, So you can't even imagine how worse it is. So they wrote some called expose in those days, expose the situation. So the people said we better change the situation. You know, better not let us call it the gap of a social standing, right? Rich and the poor. So those are J.P. Morgan's days, okay? Rockefeller's days. So anyway, so go ahead. I might move too forward, okay? That's about 50 years later, something happened. Go ahead, yeah.
Oh, okay. After years of breathing coal dust into their lungs, miners couldn't breathe properly anymore. They died when their lungs could no longer pull in enough oxygen to keep them alive. Miners used to sing, "I used to be a drillman till I got the best of me, and now I've eaten so much dust that it's a killing me."
It's a killing me. Yeah, the thing, yeah.
Women and children breathed coal dust too. Women pulled loads of coal out of the tunnels while the men worked. Children sat down in the pitch black of the mine, opening and closing the trapdoors that helped air move through the mine. "I have to trap without a light," one little girl, only 8, explained. "I'm scared, so sometimes I sing." Coal miners hauled coal out of the mines for the steam engines. But then the coal had to be carried to the machines. Tons of coal were floated down England's rivers on barges. But what about machines that weren't near the water? The answer: railroads. A steam engine hooked to the train would burn coal to keep itself running. But by using a little bit of coal, it could pull tons more all the way across the country. As steam engines grew more and more popular, railroads were built across more and more land. Farmers objected to the railroads. "All that noise will keep our cows from giving milk," they complained. "The chickens will stop laying eggs. The crops will wilt."
Crobs.
What?
Did you say crobs?
I said crops.
What does the wilt means? I have no idea.
Well, it just
Like
means like
scribble up a
die.
Oh, man.
But railroad builders ignored these objections. Soon, coal trains were joined by passenger trains. Steam engines could take people from place to place much faster than horses and carriages. Millions of people began to use trains and travel farther and farther away from home. Steam power was beginning to change life in England, and soon this change would spread across Europe and over to North America. This is called rocket.
Well, that's it.
The rocket.
That's good. Let's continue then.
Now we're going to be talking about cotton and guns.
Okay. That's some good topic, huh? In America. The other side is in Britain, so this is in America. Okay, go ahead.
Cotton and guns in America. Steam ran pumps and bellows, ships and trains. Over in America, it would soon run a new kind of machine, the cotton gin.
The cotton gin. What that is? I had no idea.
Cotton gin.
I know.
Cotton gin.
It explains later in the chapter.
It is?
what
Okay. Wow, okay.
The warm, damp fields of the southern United States were perfect for cotton plants. Thread spun from cotton was used all over the world. Plantation owners could grow huge, healthy cotton plants covered with valuable cotton bills. When the cotton fields were ready to harvest, slaves and hired men moving along the rows, plucking the fluffy cotton balls and dropping them into huge sacks.
Have anybody pick out cotton balls? Yeah.
Yes.
No, not yet.
Not like wild, not like actual cotton.
Yeah,
Well,
we pick cotton.
Not
real
wild.
ones?
We have.
Real
It's
ones?
been like cotton from trees and stuff.
Real ones?
You're talking about
Probably
Probably in the
not
field.
like that stuff with the brown at the bottom and no cotton.
In the field? Okay.
S for seven.
Stop. Hey guys, pay attention, okay?
Sorry.
Good. Yeah. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
But the cotton balls weren't soft and smooth like the ones you can grow by a drugstore. At a drugstore.
Okay.
So they were filled with seeds, and the seeds were covered with little hooks, like sharp pieces of Velcro.
What that is?
Like,
Velcro. Well,
you know those
Those things like connect together, like
Some shoes have it,
Come
like come apart, like.
Oh,
stick.
okay,
I don't
okay.
understand why they put it.
Okay.
Before the cotton could be used, all of the seeds had to be pulled out of the cotton balls, one at a time. One slave could work all day and only clean the seeds out of a single pound of cotton. A college boy from Massachusetts named Eli Whitney.
I remember
We
listening
used to
to
call
Elijah
Elijah that all the time.
Oh, you guys call Elijah, Eli.
we used to call him that.
Okay.
Eli Whitney came south.
We're gonna call you Eli from today.
No,
Eli
no,
Whitney.
I don't like being called
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
remember this, that's really nice.
Okay. They would call it Eli.
Ellie.
Yeah.
Eli.
Yeah. Bless you.
Bless you.
After the American
I obviously
Revolution-
like the name very much. So
sneezes about it.
Eli.
go ahead.
After the American Revolution and set up his workshop in the plantation. Eli liked machines. He liked solving problems. He watched the slaves struggle to pull the clinging hook seeds out of cotton blossoms. There must be a better way to do that, Eli Whitney thought. And he started I'm sorry. And he started to experiment with different kinds of rollers and blades.
Rulers and blades.
No one knows exactly how Eli Whitney I can't say it.
So,
Solved the problem.
so evidently you need to sing and sound and dance somehow. So you need to sing or dance. Maybe you can more concentrate, not read.
It's just the name it kind of.
Okay.
But according to the story told afterward, Eli was sitting on the back porch of a nearby plantation, ideally watching chickens in a wire pen.
Idly.
I hate Eli.
Oh, ideally. Idly or
Okay,
ideally.
I'm totally lost.
Yes,
That's why I
sir.
also want to rebuild it.
Yeah, we just
To chill. It's they learn to be chill. It's hard to say.
A cat sat next to the pen, watching the chickens and hoping to make a meal of one of them. When a careless chicken wandered over the cage to the edge of the pen, the cat pushed his paw through the wire and extended its claws. The claws scraped the chicken and pulled its feathers right off.
Huh.
The chicken ran off squawking with a patch of bare skin. The cat stalked off with nothing but feathers. But Whitney had his idea.
Hold on there. Do you guys remember another invention or another story similar? Do you recall anything scientific or historical happen
Like
similar, like watching some suddenly, like aha moment?
Oh, like an apple falling on his head?
Yeah, exactly. So, that's Newton, right? Sir Newton. Isaac Newton got the idea of gravity. So.
He went back to his workshop and built a metal roller with teeth that rubbed up against a metal grill. The roller, turned by a handle, pulled up cotton and scraped it across the grill. The seeds dropped away. Now a slave who turned the handle off this new machine called it a cotton gin.
A cotton gin,
Gin
okay.
or, oh, gin.
Gin, right? Is that a gin?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. That's why later on they have a gin, I believe. Something to do with cotton.
Gin was definitely already created.
I'm joking. So did you read these books already?
Yeah,
I
I
read
read.
every chapter before and highlight all my notes so then I can just write them down.
Wow, that's
Oh, wow.
interesting. A different process than yours.
Very different.
Yeah. Like I was. I used to read ahead just
Oh, really?
books. Yeah, something I want interest to learn. That I really want the literature to learn from the teacher what to say, or to read ahead, called a preview. So when the teacher teaches it, you can literally hear more the thing he want to talk about, expound about. So
Right.
it's more effective way learning, because not. Then after that, you pretty much get spared a lot of trouble doing has to do review. It's a different way
Yeah,
for
that's
learning, right?
That might be better.
Yeah, exactly. Preview on time, so then review. If you go through this process, it's a subject you really feel you want interest in, want to memorize. That's the way how
Yeah, a
I
lot easier
did.
for me because then I can just write them all
Yeah,
down
exactly.
later. It is kind
exactly.
of hard to like take notes after
Yeah.
we read it too, so I might.
Yes,
that.
yeah. I
That
mean,
sounds
when you first encounter information, especially under a certain regime, regime, discipline, or time frame.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier.
It's
I
just,
think, yeah,
it's
'cause-
very hard for you to jumble around new thoughts, somebody
Right.
talking, taking
But, I mean,
notes.
even when you're reading, you know where those important parts are, so you can always go back and rewrite them.
exactly,
I feel like when I'm
exactly.
learning stuff, I have to
Yeah.
read it multiple times. to
Yeah,
actually,
method learning
it in.
is a very interesting thing, and right?
Right.
So, after you do design things, sometimes you just think doesn't come together. You suddenly change the method, how to organize things getting things much easier, right? So is how to learn in terms how to use your memory, right? The power of the brain sense how
Yeah.
to use it. It has its own processing, so it's not the same. So, yeah. Well, I want you guys to pay attention to things we're talking about, okay? Not distracted. It's very important to learn to concentrate your mind. If a person continuing in the class setting distracted, is very unproductive more than for himself, it disturb everybody. So that person's in wide discipline from me, okay? So I can't have that happen because it disturbs everybody. Because laugh can joke, but what you disengage in, what have you, and the student disengaging continually, that student's not want to learn, then the class literally just lowers the standard to give it to ways not engaging. You don't want the life to be like that when you're a parent, or a teacher, or a manager. That means the things you're doing is not being effectively carried out. And you don't want to do that with your own life because that's a waste of life. I'd rather spend that time to really pay attention to the thing I'm doing. Then I can kick back really, well, not worry about it, right? So most of the people just spend their life disorganized. They try to make always living under. You know, the Bible talking to live as a head, live your life as a head rather than the tail, being dragged by your situation, dragged by the need, continue just literally don't know what you're doing, disorganized, continue scattered. I don't know why my life turned this way, my emotion wrong this way, my relation wrong certain way. It's purely a way how to organize your life. And one of the things that I see Elijah has hugely improved the life in the beginning, and no one is with me as well. In the beginning, they can't pay attention to 5 minutes. You know, so it's like their mind is wandering, right? They would think that's just me, I can't help it, right? So that's not true, you know. So after a period of time, we stay together, certain discipline invited. Beijing, you want to speak attention to you? I'm talking to you right now. The mind is able to concentrate. Mind not wander around. Mind begin to hear people. Now, while you're doing that, the good things begin to happen. First, your time is more efficiently spent. The second thing, if somebody is talking to you or studying something with you, you don't pay attention to it. Do you think it's productive for everybody, or waste others' lives? So in long term, it's like you are not merely yourself have problems. Your relationship, your work with others going to have problems. Because you don't concentrate what the people need to concentrate. You can't coordinate with them. You can't cooperate with them. You can't be an effective team member. Then with that, you can't be effective team member. Can you do leading? You can never lead because you can never be trustworthy, possibly, whatever the word, effectively to carry out the task. Your standard is very low for yourself. You don't have a way to even carry out in effective ways, right? So your life continuing being a tail. You can never assume leadership or important positions. Things equally, situation like really chaotic, everybody frenzy, everybody confused. You are literally add more to the fire rather than be a solution, right? So is that God want us to do our life to be like that? Going into a difficult situation, we just panic, frenzy, throw our hands in heaven, said, I don't know anything about it, I don't know what to do with it, so rather said, okay, this is my moment. This, even it's troublesome, it's crisis, it's challenging, but maybe with me involved, I can bring some clarity by it, bring some peace, bring some order by some solution to it. Now, where it started? Start in the day of small things. In the day of small things. Elijah want to lay hands on Benji to pray for him. Lay hands on his mind, actually. Noah come around to pray for Benji. You young people, as you stay with me for a while, your mind will be changed. Naturally be disciplined and changed. And it started with such conversations, Benji. It's a conversation everybody go through with me. I'm going to discipline the little things, but the little thing is not little, right? Not little. The other example I tell people, if somebody want to make friends with me, you see, you can't help not looking other places.
Right.
Why? I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful in long terms. It's unproductive for your mind. But you don't want to do that, am I?
Mm-hmm.
At all.
Yeah.
Am I? You don't want to do it. It's a habit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a habit of things. It's also a things that a condition not leave you already in confidence in order your mind. You worry about things too much.
Mm-hmm.
And those things you have to start engaging things, productive with it, step by step, solid. So that don't need to worry about it. Because you're more confident, you're more productive things. You don't need to worry about things. You step by step build self-confidence, build excellency, and you're more and more able to handle yourself in any situations with a sense of composure, a sense of confidence. You also can be a solution and encouragement to everybody. When you show up, leadership comes, order comes, confidence comes, right? Nobody panic anymore. So, the sergeant general, he's so friends, he don't know what to do, so every soldier is running around, I don't know what going to happen, right? The sergeant general, so chaotic, come around, he just make a speech, make a talk, all the soldiers suddenly become silent. Let's fight a good battle, let's organize ourselves, right? So, one to speech, it's a different person. And the leadership changed the day. Literally, one person changed the day. I'm not trying to teach you a hero, but I'm talking about certain people have such impact over a group of people when the situation demanded it, am I? You can't be general every day, every moment, but you at least prepare your heart when you're young, when those things come upon your life. Family, community, if you're in a war, a campaign, you go there, you're not in panic. You don't feel prepared inside of you. Said, you understand my point. I'm able to make a difference. It started with the very small things, and we expect good things to happen. How did it happen? It happened with the day of small things, the day of small beginnings. Go ahead. Elijah, you want or you pray. Lay hands on his forehead.
Lord, I do pray that you would bless our brother Benji, Lord, as he is, Lord, beginning to see, Lord, and understand, Lord, the true ways of your life, Lord, and the true ways of being a son in your kingdom. Lord, not only that, but Lord, things just in daily life, Lord, and teaching time, Lord, and listening, Lord, and learning. Lord, I pray that you would lift him up and enlighten his heart, Lord, and this time, Lord, that he would take this discipline, Lord, not as something to look down on, Lord, but something to look up on, Lord, as he is learning, Lord, and growing with us, Lord, with you. So I pray that you would bless his heart and mind, Lord, in all that he does, Lord, and that he would to begin to really hear your voice and understand you, Lord, express your name. Yeah.
This kind of lessons in life is more important than the many history books, right? Just telling you. So go ahead. No one to bless your brother. Yeah. Lay hands on him and pray. Your mind will be changed. More than just talking, your mind will change. There's a power in the spirit. There's power in the realm than beyond our rational thinking. Go ahead, lay hands on there. His forehead. Pray for his head.
Yes, so I do lift Benji up to you. Lord, I thank you for his heart and his life. Lord, the work that you have already begun to do, Lord, in his heart and his mind. I do pray that this grace, Lord, that you are pouring forth upon him through these times of instruction and teaching, Lord, of life wisdom, Lord, would truly begin to manifest in and through his life, Lord, and extend even into his family, Lord, that it would bring about a new way of life, Lord, to be practiced in their midst. So, Lord, I do ask that it would be, Lord, an encouraging process for them, Lord, a life-giving process for them, Lord, something that truly renews and clarifies their vision of you and your kingdom and purpose. So, Lord, I do pray these blessings upon Benji, Lord, that he would indeed not only be, but even desire to be, Lord, a light unto others, Lord, to see beyond his own life, Lord, to see into the lives of others. Lord, you have already placed within him a caring heart, so, Lord, I pray that you would confirm these things and strengthen them. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Hallelujah. Well, sorry to get aside a little bit, so please be seated. Yeah. Where we were?
We're at Cotton Gin.
Cotton Gin there. Okay. Continue a little bit. Actually, let Beijing read from there. So.
Okay. Where were
You're at the Cotton Gin.
we? Could clean 15 or 20 pounds of cotton per day. A plantation owner who lived near a stream could hook the cotton gin to water to a water wheel and clean thousands of pounds of cotton per day. A steam engine could clean the cotton even faster. With the help of the cotton gin, cotton growers could make more money than they ever dreamed. Plantation owners planted larger fields and bought more slaves. In the years to come, cotton would become the biggest industry of the South and increase slavery in
A hundredfold.
Whitney wasn't finished inventing. He wanted to solve another problem too.
Oh, that's why many people with last names Whitney. I'm joking. Have you guys heard of the singer called Houston Whitney? Oh man, she's such a beautiful singer.
I think it's Whitney Houston.
Well, sorry.
Yeah, she has a very nice voice.
But there you go, Whitney. Right, her name is Whitney.
Yes.
So. And there is Mountain Whitney as well. You know that?
What?
Mount Whitney.
Mountain Whitney.
Mount Whitney?
Mount Whitney. General Sherman, Mount Whitney. You guys went to General Sherman,
That's a tree.
The tree. Yeah.
Wait, we did?
It's the biggest tree in the world.
Yeah, it locked up in the snow. That's Mount Whitney. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, this problem had nothing to do with the cotton. The United States government wanted the United States Army to have better guns. Guns were made by hand, one at a time. The parts of each gun fit only the gun, no other. If a trigger broke or a barrel twisted, the soldier who owned the gun would have to take it to a gunsmith and wait for a new part to be made.
That is a mass production come on board, right?
Yeah.
Before Ford used the same principle to produce cars, right?
Oh,
So,
wow, that's good.
yeah, standardized things, So, yeah, exactly. So, go ahead.
Eli Whitney wondered why weren't guns designed so that every gun had the same size barrel, the same size trigger, and the same size.
Buoyant. Do you know what buoyant means?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's part to the gun.
Bayonet.
The bayonet.
Yeah.
Bayonet
Oh,
is
bayonet.
is a knife.
Yeah, this is something on top of the gun. Remember that?
The knife and the gun,
This-
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a gun.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought it was
A bayonet's not a bayonet is a knife that you connect.
Could attach
Oh, that you
to the
connect
top of
to
the
the
gun,
gun?
you know,
Yeah.
since
Oh, I thought-
like a sword, make it like sword knife,
Good to
so
know.
spear, yeah.
most bayonets were able to be taken off and used as a fighting weapon as well.
Exactly.
Some were connected where you can do that, but
Yeah. Very interesting concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then he could make 100 barrels, 100 triggers, and 100 firing pins. If part of a gun broke, if a part of a gun broke, the soldier could just grab a replacement part and put it in. This probably seems like a plain old common sense to you. Today, we're used to having parts that fit the same in any machine.
Often I encourage this gentleman said, learn one thing, you can learn three, right? So same principle. Yeah, same principle, you can do it. You know, how you printed this book, think about it. Used people had to do handwriting all the time, right? Had to hire the scribes, you know, all day long just copy books, right?
Yeah.
And you never know it's right or wrong, right? Because everybody has to go through the same process. Someone has to do it. Well, if you write wrong, you have to redo it again, right? So what a waste of life and paper, everything, right? So suddenly somebody said, you know what? Why we don't copy it? Put it in the design a imprint, right? Like a print, right? As a press, we call it press because it's pressed down. It produces the same result all the time. You only need to edit it one time, make sure it's good, and then you don't need to write it again. You print the same thing, right? So then people say, because you have to inscribe. If you inscribe one book, you can only do one book, inscribe the same print, and go on. Okay, print 1,000 books with the same print model or mode, whatever. But it's like, each word is the same alphabet, am I right?
Right.
I don't need to inscribe everything on one plate. I just need to change the alphabet and make it the same composition, am I right? So, and then I don't need to every time to make it the mode anymore. And you think about this step revolutionized the printing business, right? So, in the Middle Ages, people don't have books. Why they don't have books? Because nobody can really take this time to copy a book, right? Where the source of the book is. So then with the printing press going on, they revolutionized the way how people communicate. Especially the Bible used to be nobody can have a Bible. Why isn't it have a Bible? It's so expensive, so it's impossible to get a copy. So then printing business. And that is taken advantage by Martin Luther's time. Because people began to print things. The founding fathers of the nation, some literally started with printing businesses. Then they step into the writing business, then step into learning things business. Typical example is Benjamin. What is his name? Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, Franklin, am I right? So he started it. He's only 15 years old. Become his first apprentice with his brother, then become partnership with his brother. Started prints. Then because of that, he went to England, started be a apprentice. He learned the modern days of prints. He come back. He started writing. So, and he become a very, very instrumental in the founding of this nation. So we just read this book. The person names who wrote the book called The Common Sense. You know what Common Sense? Who authored it?
I think it was Thomas Paine.
Thomas Paine. You know Thomas Paine where he came from? He's a Native American, green American. No, he's not even an American citizen.
No, he's not. I forgot, but I know we learned about him.
Yes.
For school.
Do you know why he wrote that book?
It was because I don't remember exactly why, but
it was commissioned, hired by Benjamin Franklin. How they get to know each other because of printing business. They have this same circle of people. So to know all the writers, to know the article, and that's a major way, like today's internet, because they do newspaper, pamphlet, newspapers. That's revolutionizing those societies those days. So I think about the power. When I grew up, I don't know you guys' age, but we don't have asset. You kidding me? So a computer is marvel already. So I remember the days I have this gentleman have a handset in house. Right on it. What? So that's about 10 years ago. Life changed, right? Everything changed. Yeah. Anyway, finish that.
Okay. New light bulb will fit into any lamp or ceiling light in your house.
Would you care for Elijah? Oh, no. Somebody. Oh, you're already reading. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're almost finished.
Finish. Okay.
If you have have a pencil sharpener in your house, you can buy pencils in any city, and they'll fit into the sharpener. If you buy any roll of toilet paper from any grocery store, it will fit into your own toilet.
Standardization. It's a very important word.
Yeah.
Standardization.
Standardization.
Yeah. So let's see what the major difference between British. You a driver. What the difference British cars and American cars?
Different side driving.
Yeah. And others, you use money all the time. What the difference?
They use a different currency.
Yeah, different currency. Right? Different measurement. Right? Somebody use cent, somebody use inch. Say that. Meters. Standardization.
Wait, wasn't like in Canada things were cheaper or more expensive?
They're cheaper.
Depends.
Actually, never mind.
Yeah, they were
Depends.
more expensive.
Depends.
More
I think it's more
expensive
expensive. Yeah, they were more expensive.
In Spain, everything is cents.
Like everything is
Every little
depends.
cents.
That's cool.
Anyways,
Spanish people have 5 meals a day, I heard.
yeah.
All right, 5
Yeah.
meals. Tell us about it. Yeah.
So they have breakfast, and then they have like a middle lunch
Middle
thing,
lunch,
like at
yeah.
11ish, I think.
Yeah.
And then they have like lunch at 2.
Add to
Then they have-
after they had this.
After they had their little
Yeah,
coffees.
okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Tell us.
at like 9 at night they have dinner, and then
Oh.
at like around 11:30 they have a little snack. So, yeah. Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
That's
See?
very interesting. that
That's a serious life, right?
Yeah. Definitely different.
No wonder people don't think. I'm joking. That's very interesting life. Yeah. See, people taking nap as official. Even the government taking naps. The stop office hour taking nap. All right?
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
It is official.
It's
Yeah.
official today.
Yeah, official taking nap. That called it, not a standardization. It's called a custom, a culture, tradition. Yeah.
Okay. Standardization.
Hard word to say.
Yeah. Means that parts are
Interchangeable.
interchangeable. A light bulb from a General Electric can be interchanged with a light bulb made by another company. Both will work. But back in 1797, standardization was a brand new idea Eli Whitney had to show a group of American government officials. A whole stack of his new gun parts and invite them to put together a gun. Using any of the parts the officials including Thomas Jefferson, chose their parts and started to fit them together. All of the parts snapped into place. The officials were delighted. They told Whitney to build a gun factory which would make guns for the whole United States Army.
That's quickly being popularized everywhere, becoming industry. So.
Eli Whitney claimed that his system of interchangeable parts was unknown in Europe. Soon this way of making parts was called the American system. Actually, a French inventor had already thought of this, but it was Whitney's factory that became famous. Soon, interchangeable parts were used for all sorts of goods: clocks, farm machinery, and cotton gins. The idea of interchangeable parts would soon help factories to spread across North America. Just as cotton fields were spreading in the South, like steam power, Whitney's two inventions would help to change everyday life forever.
Is that amazing?